Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, everyone's talking about Donald Trump's town hall on, I think, CNN the other day, and people are criticising Anderson Cooper for defending it. Now, some people were basically saying, well, he shouldn't have been allowed that platform, and I agree to an extent because all he does is lie and spread misinformation, and we can't allow people to go on the news and lie and spread misinformation, and because this affects people. People believe it because it's legitimized by being on that platform. So, although I basically, you can have that platform as long as it's, got hosts and people willing to fact check him in real time and counter his lies and maybe literally put on the bottom of the screen, that's a lie, misinformation. And, it's bizarre to think that you have to do that, but you do have to do that because he lies so much and people believe it. And people who, like I said, see him, they think, well, he's on the TV, he's allowed to be there, so he must be telling the truth. He couldn't be lying, or they wouldn't allow him on the air. But the reality is he's looking like he's going to be the Republican candidate for presidency for the next election, so he has to be acknowledged. That's just the sad truth. And the sad reality is, it occurred to me the other day, wow, he actually, it's not impossible that he could be the president again. The 4 years he was president was hell. I was so happy when he lost the re-election and was out, and I never thought he'd get back in because I just thought, I just didn't think it could happen again. And I don't think it will, but it's not impossible. It'll be if he runs, it'll be a close call between him and whoever, because a large percentage of the population believes his lies. He hates who they hate, and that's good enough for them. That's all they need. Because they believe that, these enemies, the minorities, the immigrants, all these people that he vilifies, that they're the enemy and he's the only one fighting against them, and that's what these small-minded people think. And that's a huge part of the American population, because basically America is ignorant and uneducated and unintelligent, and most of the people there just believe what they're told on either side. It goes to a disturbing cult level with Trump, as opposed to the other side, who have their, the people with their own agendas as well. But at least they're fighting for good, even if they use the same tactics as the extreme right in a lot of cases, and they're not much better. There is that difference between, being on the right side of history and the wrong side of history, are fighting for what's good and trying to save people and protect people, rather than trying to actually take people's rights away and hurt people. So it's just crazy how just American politics is just crazy. I mean, God, I was just watching something the other day, and apparently this is real. There was a town, I think it was in Ohio, where they did a poll and they realised 59% of the population, the voting population, was for the thing was just recently taken away. I'm not going to say the word. It starts with A, ends with Auction, and there's a bore in the middle. They found out 59% of the population was for this. So what did they do? Because the laws basically is 49% you lose in a vote, 51% you win. So they are trying to put in laws to change it to, you have to get 60% of the vote to win and change a vote, change policy. Because they were trying to bring in changing policies so, access to that word I'm not saying would be part of law and something that is, promised, basically. It's something that you get, it's a right. And they're trying to stop that from being added to their legislation or whatever. So, they knew how many people would vote for it. So they tried to change the rules so you had to have more than that to do it. Not more than 50%, like 51-49, had to be 60% to get it, because they only had 59% support. So I guess they figured that they'd never get enough votes for it to get in. That's the kind of dirty tricks these people play. All these things that they do, all the Jim Crow laws and all these things they try and do to stop people from voting, trying to raise the voting age so young people can't vote, because young people tend to vote more liberal and not more democratic and less Republican. They know all these things, so they try all these things. The electoral college, which was set up to make sure, it's just so dodgy, and so it's fascinating, but it's you got to remind yourself this is real, and real people's lives are affected by all of this. But so far as the town hall goes, I understand we do need to, he has to be treated with some respect, and even though we know who he is, because of the position, and it says more about us if we don't, the American people, if they don't respect that. But at the same time, he needs to be fact checked, and they need to be countering all the lies so people, don't just see him and hear what he says and take it for granted that it's the truth because it's on TV. And because there's that air of legitimacy, they have to do something to counter that. So I just had to comment on that, and the whole thing, because it's just fascinating and disturbing, and I just pray he doesn't get in again, because I can't handle. And I might have to turn the TV off and stop looking at American politics. Another 5 years of him, and he won't leave. If he gets in, he will not leave. He tried hard to stay in. It's going to be a lot worse the second time round.